Okay, we are back, friends. Welcome to episode 21. So last time we began Route E. After beating Hook, we discovered that basically in the scene where Kaine is floating through the water, that NieR was deleted. Sort of in the same fashion. Well, it reflects the ending of ending D, where you deleted all your save data. So he's been deleted from the world, and Kaine is just a normal person. So she just woke me up, and we decided that we're going to be heading. Yeah, so we're heading back to the village to see Yona, who we've saved in this reality. No ranged attacks though. And I've also changed over to the 2B costume again. Just for sort of streamability reasons, I guess. Not that it'd necessarily be a problem, I don't know, but I'd rather mitigate the risk if I can. Hopefully that makes sense.
Die, damn you! Die! Hey, get back! It's dangerous here!
I think that's my line, buddy.
Does she have any weapons that I can select? Skills, abilities. No, okay. Oh, weird. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. She's only got the one, hasn't she? But
Suppose I shouldn't just leave that guy to die.
this is a really nice sort of tutorial introduction to Kaine's mechanics as a fighter. You know, any player who's just spent a whole game playing as NieR, you know, spent what, 20 hours playing as a different character, so it makes sense that we have a bit of time at least to learn her moveset.
Thanks for the save.
Shades have been on the rise around here lately. Now go home.
Oh, believe me, I want to. Thing is, I've got a job to take care of. See, we haven't been able to get in touch with anyone in the Forest of Myth. Somebody's got to go over there and make sure they're all right.
And that someone is you. You will make it 10 feet before some shade mauls your ass. I'll go.
What? Really? Oh, man. Thanks a million. Oh, wait. You should take these. I'll wait for you around here. And thanks again.
I'm not sure if I prefer her moveset or not, actually. I mean, in some ways, like, the charging attack is really good. What you can't see as well is, like, the loading icon is different, but specifically for this, for when you're playing as Kaine.
Anybody home?
Like, this is absolutely not an afterthought. Oh, damn.
Shit. What are those things doing here? Wait, did they kill the villagers?
These automatons. They look different from any other enemy in the game. They are very similar to the ones that you find in the junk heap, though.
More? They just keep on coming. Why would robots be coming out of a place like that? The hell's going on here? What's a place like this doing inside a tree?
Sorry, I just love the soundtrack.
Welcome to the Sea of Humanity. Welcome to the cemetery of sin and punishment.
The hell?
You are a replicant. A manufactured existence. Individual name, Kanye.
Who are you? Show yourselves.
Remain calm. Do not be hasty. Soon we shall meet.
Creepy little freaks.
This is an integrated information management database designed to resemble a perennial plant. It transmits phenomena recorded in its memory unit.
I don't understand a damn thing you're saying.
Observations of you have been recorded as well. You brought an end to Project Gestalt. You killed the original Gestalt. Now the remaining Gestalts run wild because they have nowhere left to go. Your actions have caused the deaths of countless replicants.
Show your damn faces already!
Do not be hasty. Soon we shall meet. Soon we shall meet.
So Gestalt, I actually only learned the meaning of the word today, and I think it's a German word, which means to be greater than the sum of your parts. I believe. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Meine Deutsch ist katastrophisch.
How nice of you to join us. Yes, how nice of you to join us. We are the administrators. How full of life you are. We won't get anywhere like this. Now then, let us fight.
is up with these freaks?
We've long been watching. We have long been listening. The stories of recycled vessels. The voice of a recycled world. Revolutions. Will you show us your potential? Entertainers.
Worthless heap of scrap!
How truly fascinating you are. You are just as we expected. Come this way.
So if you played Automata, this makes me think of the White City. Just those hours. And obviously, like,
You are strong. We have taken the liberty of sampling that strength. We have reproduced you at the point in your journey in which you are strongest.
Son of a... Are those things me?
There are copies of you shaped by machine. A collection of microscopic plant-based propulsion units bound together with massive particles. The same as this very forest.
Oh,
A massive forest of memories coalesced by the tribes of quantum mechanics and massive research. A forest that records anything and everything about the world.
If you wanted me to follow any of this, you're gonna be real fucking disappointed.
Your comprehension is unnecessary.
After all you care for is killing. Is this not so? These other me's are brittle as hell. I ought to be insulted.
It matters not how many copies you destroy.
They will simply disperse and immediately reconstruct themselves.
There is still much fun to be had.
We have finally come to an end. God damn, you're annoying. I want to tear these freaks apart, eat the pieces, and shit them into a trash can. Fucking hell.
Have we reached the end?
Have you reached your limit? Damn it.
How unfortunate.
You little fuckers.
Kaine! Are you okay?
Neil?
You betcha! Anywho. It's good to see you safe.
Yeah.
I sense tremendous power in that magic circle. I think it's acting as an energy source. If we can destroy it, all the other kinaes should disappear too.
Got it.
I'll take care of the magic circle. You focus on kicking some Kaine butt. I mean, the other Kaine's butt. Not your Kaine butt. You, the real Kaine.
Yeah, I get it, Emil. Just focus.
Number 7. A magical weapon forged by humans. A being that absorbed the power of number 6 and transcended humanity.
Who is that? What are those voices?
Just a couple of little fucks.
Gosh, it feels like it's been forever since we fought together.
This seems familiar. I think there was someone else who used to fight with us. My memories of
Unusual phenomenal fluctuation observed. Singularity signature detected in replicant code. Fascinating. Terribly fascinating.
Kaine, I did it! Is that a doorway?
Beyond here lies that which was lost. The final hope for you to reclaim.
Whoa! What is this place? At least there don't seem to be any bad guys around.
Emil, I didn't get a chance to ask yet with all the fighting and shit, but what happened to you back then? And where have you been? And why the hell do you have 4 arms?
Kaine, Look, it's gonna take way too long to get into all that now.
Fine. I was worried, you know?
Aw, Kaine. But look at us now. Team Camille, back together again.
Yeah, I guess so.
So cute, Team Camille. So all the Automata players are like, what? This should look familiar.
Kaine, I feel like I've forgotten something really important.
Tell me about it.
You too?
Yeah, I can't really describe it, but it's like my mind is filled with this weird fog.
I think I made a promise to somebody? Like that we would go eat something delicious?
Well then, we'll just have to get those memories back.
Yeah! I feel an enormous magical power ahead.
Just don't do anything rash. Got it?
Got it. Same goes for you, Kaine. I don't want to be alone anymore.
Yeah. Is this the Shadow Lord's castle?
Kaine, I'm sensing some powerful magic up ahead.
This is a very special place. To you and to the world. That is the core frame of this forest, within which a great variety of information is stored. Inside it exists all that this world is, including the memories you have lost. Though, rather than memories, it might be best to say the world we have lived.
You don't get to decide who lives and who dies. That voice. It's the one from my dreams.
I've heard that voice before.
These are your memories. A record you repeatedly rewrote.
We made it this far because you were with us, Kaine.
Damn it. What is this?
Do you suffer? I am pained.
Shut the fuck up! Pathetic fucking shit horse! Just die already!
This, if I move me, is the automata loading screen.
Where am I? Emil.
These are your memories.
I'm sorry to
These are
move
your
myself.
moments.
If I move the
This is your world.
map across, you can see that's actually the automata map for when you're, like when you're hacking. Oh dear, I moved the wrong thing here. Yeah. Just move that. There we go. And you've got the automata health bar.
The hell is this?
Sweet memories from deep within. Hidden memories that were sealed away.
Shades?
Shades. Human souls that have gone gestalt. These shades are but data reproduced via your records. They are the true humans you slaughtered on your journey.
BP, wait, that's enough. No, I can't live without you. I don't want to be alone again. It's Khalil.
Enough with this bullshit already.
You have heard many voices. Fear, hate, rage, suffering. Each of them has a meaning.
We are incomplete, but our friends make us whole. We are mocked, abused, and hated, but our friends keep us strong. This is what keeps us going. Do not stand in the way of our lives.
Stop it, stop it, stop it! I kill shades. That's all there is to it.
This is the deepest place in your memories. Memories you had sealed away. And this one is your worst memory.
I'll kill you as many times as it takes. You goddamn shit fucking despicable piece of garbage!
We upgraded the data that was recreated from your memories. Can you defeat this nightmare?
Shut your goddamn traps for one goddamn second and let me kill it already!
It's futile. It cannot be stopped. There is no escaping this nightmare.
Someone else was there when I first fought this bastard. Fuck. Why can't I remember?
You are a foreign entity in this world.
I have not understood a single fucking thing you shitty little ass grabbers have said since we started this goddamn adventure. I think it's charging up its magic. Get the fuck down here, you worthless, piss-guzzling shit rag! Okay, that hurt.
Get out, half-breed. You disgust me. You disgust us all. We don't want you. Just leave us in peace.
Enough already! Please, just shut up! Fuck. This is bad.
When Kaine's eyes flutter open, she sees a dozen villagers quizzically staring back. After a moment, she realizes she's collapsed on the ground, where sharp stones dig at her flesh like... Whatever. That's not important now. She pulls herself up to her knee before rising on unsteady feet and sparring Let's try that again. She pulls herself up to her knee before rising on unsteady feet and sparing a glance at her surroundings. The fuck? She mutters. What happened? Wasn't I just fighting shades? Her mind races as her hand gropes unconsciously for the blade that has been her constant companion for so very long. Though she can't explain it, it's clear she has somehow been transported to an entirely new world. Well, not entirely new. She recognizes the hawk-shaped weather vane twisting slowly in the wind above her, as well as the small round homes with wisps of smoke drifting into the air. And of course, there are the villagers currently staring at her with a mixture of fear and disgust. Oh yes, they're a familiar sight indeed. She is in the Eyrie. She is home. Is something the matter, girl? Kaine spins around at the voice and sees a woman ravaged by time. Her narrow hips barely seem strong enough to hold her body upright, while the shawl appears wrapped around her thin frame appears ready to fall apart at any moment. Grandma? Is that really you? Her grandmother's eyes grow almost comically wide before blinking several times in succession. What's wrong, you fool girl? Is your head lost in dreams? Dreams? Could this be a dream? But this feels so real. But she's dead. Grandma's dead. I watched that goddamn shade kill her. So if this isn't a dream, how the hell is she here? Unless those shades killed me too. That must be it. I'm dead. I'm dead and this is her. Oh, stop with that nonsense already. Kaine flinches as her grandmother raises her hand in the air, expecting pain to come as correction for her foolishness. But instead of a blow, her grandmother simply places the hand upon her granddaughter's cheek. The warmth of it instantly spreads from her cheek to her face before filling her entire body with a kind of beautiful light. What's wrong, girl? Asks her grandmother. Are you upset? Do you want to go home? Kaine feels tears coming up to her eyes and struggles to hold them back. Though she still has no idea what is happening, she knows one thing for certain. This is her grandmother. Sorry, Grandma. I'm not sure where my head was at there. Well, just make sure you keep it attached, her grandmother chuckles as she pulls her hand away. Maybe this is a dream, or maybe I'm already dead. I don't know. But either way, I'm not alone. As long as Grandma is with me, that's enough. Didn't I just tell you to stop spacing out, girl? Grandmother says with a cackle. Here, now, hold this. She hands Kaine a large sack filled to bursting with all manner of fruits and vegetables. Damn, Grandma, this is a lot. Well, it's important to treat yourself every now and again. Besides, these villagers may hate us, but the bastards are more than willing to take our money. We'll lend support as we can, even if they have to hold their noses whilst we do it. Her grandmother trails off, as if to remember something, then slowly turns around. Well, what do you know? In all the excitement... Well, what do you know? In all the excitement, I forgot to buy my medicine. A thin smile wavers on her face for a moment before vanishing into a lifetime's worth of crevices and wrinkles, causing Kaine to take a concerned step forward. No, Grandma, that's fine. You can go home and rest. I'll get the medicine. Her grandmother hesitates, clearly trying to weigh her own need for rest against her granddaughter's odd behaviour of a moment before. Before she can start to argue, Kaine charges ahead, ignoring the small voice in her head that's telling her that what a bad idea that it is. Really, Grandma, it's fine. Go home. I've got this. She pulls her grandmother's ancient wallet from her fingers, an act that requires a surprising amount of strength. Besides, you know how stubborn I am. Once my mind is set, there's no changing it. Humph. I wonder where you get that from. Seeing that further argument will be useless, her grandmother slowly turns and begins the long journey home. Kaine watches the figure recede from her vision, waiting for what seems like an eternity to ensure everything is all right. Once the frail shadow finally vanishes over the horizon, she turns on her heel and makes for the apothecary. "Ho there!" says the elderly apothecary as Kaine enters the store. "Here for Callie's medicine, are you?" Though few villagers had ever bothered to learn her grandmother's name, she and the apothecary were old friends. Perhaps that was the reason he'd always showed her kindness when so many others did not. Yeah, if it's not a bother." The shopkeeper immediately sets about his work, deftly pulling bottles and herbs from the shelves and mixing them with a practiced hand. Soon, a peculiar smell begins to drift through the store, one that immediately reminds Kaine of her childhood. "There you are," says the apothecary as he holds out a small cloth bag. "Sorry for the wait. Oh, and say, that's a fine portrait you drew of your grandmother. Looks just like her, so it does. Honestly, I've never seen Callie so over the moon about anything. She brags about it every time she stops by." "You saw that?" says Kaine, her eyes narrowing. Said portrait was something that she'd whipped out up one day after getting her hands on some crayons, and to call it rough would be an act of purest generosity. The idea her grandmother was displaying it around town makes Kaine's stomach want to sink down to her feet before slinking off into a hole somewhere. "You bet I saw it," the pleased apothecary says. "She brought it in all the way here just to show me. My, it's been a long time since I've seen something so wonderful." Kaine's mind begins to whirl. The picture was shit. She was sure it was shit. And yet, the man's reaction displayed the exact opposite opinion. Is he just being nice to me? The apothecary, as if sensing her skepticism, doubles down. "I could really tell you put your heart in it. I could really tell you put your heart in it. It was simply wonderful." Thanks," offers Kaine, who just wants the entire conversation to be over. She briefly considers how she's going to make her grandmother cease her little travelling art show, but then realises that train has likely left the station. Shaking her head to banish her increasingly shrill thoughts, she grips the bag of medicine tightly and turns to leave. But just as she reaches the door, she hears a loud thud from somewhere in the back of the shop. Kaine turns around to see the apothecary crouching on the floor. Hey there. Are you okay?" When the man does not reply, Kaine moves towards him. She assumes he just slipped on something, or perhaps hit his head on one of the low-hanging shelves in the crowded shop. But the moment she draws close to him, she hears him begin to scream inside her mind. "My leg! My leg! My leg! My leg! Oh God, where is my leg?" Panicked, Kaine looks down and discovers that the man's leg is gone. "Help me!" screams the voice in her head. "Help me!" As Kaine looks on in horror, the man's fingers begin to shimmer and vanish. He reaches out for her with his other hand, only to find that it, too, is no longer there. Soon his arms go, then his legs. Then the side of his face warbles out of existence, causing a stray eyeball to roll out of its socket and onto the floor. "Help!" says the voice, if it could even be called that anymore. Can. A moment later, what remains of the pitiful shopkeeper collapses into a heap of ash, releasing a small puff into the suddenly silent air. As Kaine stumbles back in horror, she hears a cacophony of terror rising up outside. "Oh God, what's happening? My arms! Where are my arms? Why can't I see?" Kaine bursts out of the store and finds herself in a nightmare. Homes slough off the sides of cliffs, taking out pieces of scaffolding as they fall. Screams echo out everywhere, creating an opera fit for hell. Villagers run in mad circles before exploding into dust, their clothing drifting this way and that as it flows untethered through the air. As she stares at the scene, wide-eyed, a single thought suddenly inserts itself into the forefront of her mind. "Grandma!" Kaine breaks into a run, the crumbling world around her suddenly forgotten. She leaps from one piece of falling debris to the next, using them as stepping stones to cross a world that is increasingly losing cohesion. As she continues her mad dash, flecks of ash are blown into her face, her mouth, her eyes, ash, 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 buildings and people, all reduced to so many cinders in the wind. Soon she arrives at her childhood home. It was once a place filled of precious memories, a place she regarded as an oasis in an increasingly mad world, but now it is nothing but a pile of ash. As she gapes unbelievingly at the sight, a faint sound suddenly reaches her ears. Kaine. She's alive! Grandma's alive! With the speed born out of panic, she leaps into the giant pile and begins shoving it aside. It stings her eyes and burns her lungs, but as she continues on, heedless of the danger, finally she pulls a small blackened form out of the darkness. Come on, Grandma, she whispers. We're getting out of here. Without waiting for a response, Kaine gathers her grandmother in her arms and breaks into a mad run, hoping to escape the chaos. But the wave of ash has become a tsunami, and before she can make it more than a few desperate steps, it reaches out with a cruel hand and overwhelms them. Kaine stumbles and falls, sending her and her grandmother tumbling into the ashes. One glance at her feet is enough to reveal the culprit. Her right leg has vanished at a point just below the knee. Oh, it'll take more than that to stop me. Sorry. Oh, it'll take more than that to stop me, mutters Kaine as she slings her grandmother over her shoulder and begins to crawl away. We're going to make it. We're going to live. As she crawls, her grandmother seems to grow lighter, as if trying to magically reduce the weight of her own burden. And as Kaine continues to struggle, she hears a small, soft voice enter her ear. Thank you, Kaine. Thank. As the voice drifted away, the last pile of ash that used to be her grandmother drifts away on a soft breeze. Kaine screams, an impossibly sad and lonely sound, and begins trying to pull the ashes back to her. This can't be happening. It can't be happening! But these ashes are mingling with all the other detritus from the collapsed village, and as soon as she can no longer tell which particles belong to who. Come on, come on, come the fuck on already! As she continues her frantic digging, her hands suddenly close around a piece of soft, ragged fabric. Her grandmother's shawl. I knew this place was a lie. I knew it. I still couldn't do anything. I couldn't save anyone. I couldn't even escape. I just felt the peace in the place and I accepted it. I wanted it. That's why there was nothing here. No reason to live. No goal. No anything. So this is why I'm...
Say,
Suddenly, a new voice enters Kaine's world.
I say, can you hear me?
After a moment, the voice calls out again. Louder. Clearer.
Now then, you wish to get him back, hmm?
Him? Replied Kaine. Who are you talking about?
For the love of all the heavens, I always did know you were a handful.
Though the voice immediately begins to grate on Kaine's nerves, there is something else as well. A kind of warmth. Almost a familiarity.
Are you truly so daft that you have already forgotten one of your beloved traveling companions and friends?
Says the voice, which causes something deep in Kaine's memories to surge forth. That's right. I had friends, and I was fighting to get one of them back. At this realization, a blinding, radiant beam of light shoots out from across the ash-covered world. Covering her eyes with one trembling hand, Kaine reaches for it.
Do hurry back now, hussy. What is the matter? Do you still not remember? You've not time to become lost in your thoughts.
Right. Okay. Let's get him back!
Use my
I'm sorry, something weird appears to have happened with the resolution here. I apologise, folks. I don't know how long that's been that way. Hang on, let me stretch this out. Terrible streaming. Yeah, I think we should be laughing again. Sorry about that.
magic to topple the beast. I presume you know how to use magic, yes? Then give us a show, hussy.
I don't need your help to take out this goddamn fuckwaffle!
Kane swears are the best, man.
Use my power to knock the creature down with magic. Well done. Now clobber the beast.
Let's fuck it up good! Shit, this thing is tough.
Let the next onslaught be our last.
Hey, Vice.
Yes.
Thanks.
Have you been in your cups again?
Fuck your face.
Ah, that's more like it. Are you sound of mind, hussy? What you're attempting is extremely...
Cram it, book. I'm doing this.
I see. Let not your resolution waver before mere illusions again, hussy.
Don't worry. I'll do what needs to be done.
Let us finish this.
So this is a replicant's potential.
Don't go. Gotta go back. Don't go.
Shut up, shut up! I already made up my mind. Nobody tells me what to do. I swore I would be a sword. I swore that I would be your sword. Do you hear me? So I am going to get you back, and I don't care what it takes. Who the fuck do you think you are to just up and disappear like that, huh? I'm the one who gets to decide what my life means to me. It's my life, and I'll do whatever I want with it. So quit wasting time like a brainless fuckwit and get your ass back here now!
Do you want to recover the person that you cherish? If you choose this option, your current save data will be erased. Once your data has been restored, the save data will be erased. You can only choose this option once. Are you really sure? Are you really sure about this? What is the name of the person that you cherish? It's NieR. The correct name was entered. All save files will be restored. As you can see, I caught a lot of fish. Really love the fishing minigame.
I leave the rest to you, hussy.
Our journey may have been meaningless.
Our past may have been a mistake.
But we're not going back.
Even if this world comes to an end.
Because this is the world with the people we cherish.
And that's ending E. So yeah, there's obviously an awful lot to say about that. You know, given the journey that kind of goes on, it really kind of connects replicant to automata. And it, it becomes really obvious that the replicants are the earlier versions of the automatons in automata. Yeah. And again, like ending E doesn't exist in the earlier Gestalt version of the NieR game, or this version of NieR, this particular NieR game. You've obviously got Gestalt and then you've got Replicant. So this ending was all put in afterwards specifically for the purpose of linking it to Automata, and I think it does a really good job of that. And it really, although it's quite short, it's only about an hour's worth of content. It's a really polished hour, and it plays really well. It's not as if Kaine's character was an afterthought. It's not as if any of that wasn't as good or even better quality than the content of the base game. So yeah, I mean, a lot of respect to Toy Logic and Square Enix for putting that in. Yeah. I think this game has been sort of killer all the way through. I mean, there's some stuff which I think is, pretty divisive, like the reading text adventure components of that. I can see why that wouldn't be for everybody. But the soundtrack's really good, the combat's really good. Some of the story stuff, is a bit too much of, like, yay, the power of friendship. Maybe too much for me, anyway. I think it's quite a typical sort of anime-esque trope that would come up. There's a lot less of that in Automata, I feel like, even though Automata is probably about as dramatic. But yeah, I also think it's really daring with the different homages to different games from the past. Right the way from Resident Evil through to dungeon crawlers like Diablo, bullet hell stuff as well. I think is really cool. Very daring, particularly for the time. And yeah, a really unique way of telling stories, which I think is also one of the kind of, how do I put it? It's the sort of story that only a video game could really tell, I feel. And the reason for that is, you're essentially revisiting the same story several times, but from different perspectives, and slightly different things happen each time. I think that's kind of harder to do in things like film. Or at least, I suppose, it lends itself less to it in film. Because essentially what you've just done, if you've been here from episode 1, is that you've watched a film of this game being played. Yeah. And there's obviously a huge amount to discuss about transhumanism. What does it mean to be a person? Were the replicants people? Were the Gestalts people? Do they both have a claim to that? There's probably plenty of philosophy to read around that. Yeah. But thank you very much for sticking around to the end. I really appreciate it. And now we've just got to think of what the next one's going to be. A parting greeting. Let's have a listen to that. Visit that woman's house to acquire a new weapon.
All right, is everybody here?
Present and accounted for.
You betcha!
Sure. All right then. Dear players, the game is over, and we have a special message for you.
Thank you for
playing.
playing.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Yona, why aren't you in bed?
Oh, hey! It's my big brother. I'm so sorry. I just didn't want to miss this.
Try and take it easy on her, okay? Yeah, you wouldn't turn down a request from your adorable little sister, would ya?
Popola, Devila, you're here too?
Looks like you're having yourself a grand old time, sunshine!
Okay, who was that? Shut up, Tyrion. You'll just make things complicated.
We haven't all the time in the world. Let us finish what we came here to do.
So, it's really gonna be over, huh? Does that make anyone else feel sad?
We have to say goodbye eventually. But hey, I'm sure we'll meet again.
You really think so?
I'm getting hungry over here. Want to hurry this up?
All right, once again, from the top.
Dear players, the game is over, and we have a special message for you. Ready? 1, 2... Thank you for playing!
Wonderful. And dear viewers, thank you for watching. Have a good one, and I'll see you soon. Cheers. Bye.